I am so glad for you to join us today. If you are here, definitely give me a hello just so that we know that we are up and running and all of that good stuff. And today, we have Jenna here, and I am just taking a minute just to kind of see and make sure that I am showing up on all of the things. So bear with me just a second. Let's make sure. And if you're here, let me know. And I'm going to make sure I'm popping up on this as well. Yay. Okay. So we're on Facebook. I see the Facebook things popping up. So we are good there. And so Jenna, how do you say your last name? I don't want to butcher it. I'm so good at doing that. So just tell me what your last name is.
Dellagrottaglia.
Oh, okay, good. I was close in my head. I was
You were.
close. So
And
it's
honestly, it only means from the caves. It's Italian for from the caves. So
Oh, okay. All right. It's funny too because I have a friend, her name's Delabella. And I'm like, oh wait, I know. Like that's so funny. It's funny how they like take the segments, and put them together. Like my maiden name is actually Porzio. And I think what did it mean? It was like bricklayer or something. Something so exciting like that. It's so crazy how that happens. But thank you for coming on with me today. I'm so excited. How are you doing?
absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's good. And you're in the nice warm weather over there in Nevada, huh?
It's actually chillier than norm, but I'm not complaining because I miss the cool. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know. You like my snow pictures. So now you have created so many decks. But today we are talking about the Human Spirit Oracle. And now this was published by Red Pool, or no, I'm sorry, Rock Pool.
Rock
I'm
pool.
Red Pool. Red Pool. That doesn't even exist. I was thinking about Red Feather and Rock Pool. I just combined them and they didn't even know I did it.
All
Oh
good.
my See, this is my see, sometimes this is just what I do. I just kind of say crazy thing. I just make up stuff. It's totally fine. So, and this deck, it's actually, it's so pretty, but it's also a lot of fun. And I've been having so much fun just going through and even just reading the descriptions and I love how they're like so real. And you also that you have reverse because a lot of times in oracle decks there isn't a reverse meaning, so
Great.
I think that's a really cool aspect that you had done. So tell me, like, what was kind of your inspiration for this deck?
I think my inspiration was it's a long time coming, but I think over the past few years, just watching the divide with people and hostility and the anger and really the raw emotions and the lack of respect for humanity as a whole, uh, it made me feel like we needed to find a path to gratitude and kindness to just learn how to coexist and realize that we're all human. We are all doing this together.
Right. Right. Yeah. And it does. And I feel even though like it came out at such a good time too, because we're all just kind of trying to get our footing back, right? And everything's just trying to like get back to whatever normal is. I don't feel like that we're ever getting back to what
No,
was, but the normal of whatever our new normal is. So, I think it did really, it's like perfect timing and it's just gorgeous. So, was there a card in this one that was like really hard for you? Was there one that like just you had to just kind of keep going back to it, or it just kind of gave you a
honestly,
hard time?
they all really created themselves. Most of them just happens. Like I had the whole idea for the deck in my mind, and I just started creating art for it not knowing was it going to get picked up or whatever. So
Mhm.
they actually pretty much created themselves in both word and image.
Oh,
So
I love that.
yeah, it they just really spoke to me. And I actually have a whole other list. I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I pick from, like Silver Lining and all these other ones that I would like to do. Um, but I think that the most important ones made their way front and forward. I think Jen is frozen. Uh-oh. I think she was so frozen, she was booted off. So I don't know if anyone is here. I think Jen was frozen and booted off. She had some really bad weather. If anyone has questions, please feel free to ask. I'm going to uh, see if anyone is here. Well, okay. Are you
Are you
back?
Yay! I refreshed it. No,
I was like, oh my goodness.
no, that's what I mean. And look, and we reversed. Look, we changed positions. Well, and as I was waiting for it, I could hear like the wind whipping around outside. So yeah. But anyway, so it's totally my fault.
No
Um,
worries.
yes. So yeah. So I'm trying to think, where were we? I know we were talking about your card. So do you have and I know you've created a ton of other decks. Actually, why don't you tell us what other decks you've created in case somebody would like
Ooh.
to do a deep dive?
Oh, got so many decks.
I know, so many.
I'm very, very blessed because Colette, who became my soul sister through this process,
Oh,
she
okay.
found me, and we started with the wisdom of the hidden realms. I believe it was the wisdom of the hidden realms, and then the map, um, the wisdom of the oracle, the animal spirit. Oh my God, I'm trying to see.
So many.
Oh, the goddess deck, the shaman, the mystic shaman, postcards from spirit, the good tarot,
Yeah,
the seven energies.
yeah, I have quite a few of them too, actually. Yeah, and so as you were, how did you even start doing these oracle decks? How did you like start creating them?
Just honestly, I was creating art. I was dabbling. My husband, I always did art, but I
Mhm.
was more of a traditional medium.
Okay.
And my husband got me a computer, he got me Photoshop, and I just started like making there's a deviant art group making tags. So making tags. And then I just like, people were like, oh, you need to get stock. And I'm like, well, what the hell is stock? Like, to me, stock was like, money. But then you found out what stock was, and brushes. And so I just really was dabbling with the medium. And Colette reached out to my, at the time, agent and said she'd like to do a deck. And I was really nervous, and was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to give her what she was looking for. But it really, honestly, that was it. She was like my catalyst for that.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. It's always nice when there is some, like, when it kind of all falls into place like that, right?
Right.
Like, always nice when that happens. So, do you have a favorite type of art that you like to do? Like, what's your favorite medium? If you were able to do it any way you wanted to, what would be your favorite way?
I think I really am loving the digital art because it's really forgiving. Like, I have
Mhm.
a lot of abstract pieces that I paint, or just like I illustrated children's books. But I think I really love the digital art because it's so forgiving, and you can go in and you can change things up. Or you can add things, or you could remove things. And I love that about it, is that there really seems to be no boundary to my imagination. So it honestly can take me to a more dreamy place and an easier way than is if I'm drawing or painting it.
Right. Okay. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it just even looking, and I am not an artist. I write words. That's what I do. I can't do the art. But just seeing even the options, like in just the simple programs that you have, like on an iPad and all that, and my tattoo artist, watching her even create tattoos for me and just
Mhm.
seeing how, and I love watching the process of it. I love that you can record it and watch the process of,
Right,
like, that. To me, I can watch those all day long. Like, to me, they're just so relaxing to watch, and it's so cool just to see how you just start with these couple of lines and then all of a sudden it's this beautiful piece. Like, to me, that is something that I always love
right.
to watch.
I
And
did one of those videos because what I do is more of photo manipulation. So I have like a gazillion stock accounts, and I will
yeah.
license some stuff, and then I will bring it in and take this, that, the other thing, and like totally Frankenstein something, then paint it, and then add this, and then paint it. And so it's some pieces really go deep, like thousand layers. And I have like so many external hard drives because I'm always playing, like, okay, and I don't delete layers that are hidden, or I don't delete. So, because what if I want to put that back there? So,
Right, right. Yeah.
right.
No, that makes sense too because it's funny. My son, he does music and he produces music. And he's constantly like, I have to get another external hard drive. I need to know. And I'm like, you have like 10 of them. He's like, that's okay. Cause he never wants to get rid of anything. Cause like you said, he might go back and use that piece or look at that
Right.
idea or whatever. So that makes so much sense.
And I
Um,
totally relate to that because my son as well does that. He produces and writes. So I totally
oh,
get that.
Um, I love that. Yeah, and it's so it's just cool. I mean, because even with music, just seeing how they start with this one beat, and then all of a sudden it's this like song, and you're just like,
Right.
that's so cool.
Crazy.
Um, but and I love too. I'm just gonna kind of go through that. Some of these cards too. I love that they're kind of in like landscape. You
Hmm.
know, um, it's just they're just so pretty, and you know what I really like about these too is that I feel like that you can so easily use these to journal with. Like, if you really want to just sit with this card and just, even if you just brain dump and just kind of whatever comes to you,
Right.
um, like, I feel like it's just there's so much texture and there's so many things that you can dive into that these can really be used in a lot of different ways besides just doing like a card of the day, which
Right.
I think is also cool too because I actually have been doing that because I have like a couple altars, and I have a couple decks, and this one I just put on my Ganesha altar because I've been pulling, a card a day from it because I just really love the images. And so when the words are coming to you for these, and you have this image, like, do the words come first or does the image come first? Like, I feel
Um,
like I know this answer, but I'm gonna ask.
Usually it's the images, and then they portray their message to me
Mhm.
that way. But that, hence my co-author Lawrence. I have a real potty mouth, so I need to
I
sometimes,
understand.
yeah, I need to sometimes articulate without expressing that. And he
Yes.
really helped me, keep the sass that I was there, like putting in, and pull a more articulated version of it to
Right.
paper. So because I would write it down, he would say, "This is great, this is sassy, but it's a little potty mouth." And so he would go in and keep the sass that I had there,
Answers.
and
That's
just,
it.
yeah. I
Yes.
mean,
That's helpful. No, it's definitely helpful.
mhm.
And I love to, like I mentioned before, that you put in the reverse. And what called you to do that? Like, is that just because that's what came to you as you were going through it?
I
Or
feel
did
like
you really want to do it for a reason?
I really did. I feel like reverse is, it's a big message, and it's
Mhm.
not always a wrong message. It's just maybe you're going through something, or maybe you don't understand what somebody else is going through. So um I think it helps you see things in another perspective, another point of view.
Right.
So that's why it's there. It's not a negative. It's not telling you, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing? You're horrible." It's just, maybe stop, take a beat, look at things from somebody else's point of view. How can you handle this with grace or kindness
Mhm.
or whatever?
Right.
Um, I mean,
Yeah, I like that.
that's it. But like I
Yeah.
told you, and I don't know if I could say it on here, but the message is pretty much, don't be a dick. That's
Right.
it.
Yeah.
We all
Yeah.
have a struggle, right?
Yeah, but when it comes down to it, that's really everything just kind of segues to that, honestly.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
does, if you think about it. And like, I just wanted to read this one too, because this is
Hmm.
from the Easy Does It card, and I love that it's like, well, hello there. Are you on the couch? Have you been sitting there all day? Well, good for you. You have recognized the need to take a day on slow mode. Be careful, though, not to get stuck there. Sometimes we can fall into a bit of lazy procrastination and just linger there. Or sometimes it is just the super comfy couches that swallow you whole when you sit there. The point is to know the difference. So I love that. Like, the easy does it. Like, yeah, okay, take it easy, but don't become a slug on the couch for the next week.
Right, right, exactly. You know what? That's a really big message from me. Because I have, my babies, and sometimes it's like, okay, I have all this to do, and then I get stuck on the couch with my fur babies, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I got to get in mode. I got to get in mode. So that was a big one for me.
Yeah, they're all on you, and they're also warm and cozy, and that's it. And then it's like, oh, okay. Well, I'll just sit here for a few more minutes, and then it's 3 hours later. So
Right.
I understand this. This does definitely happen. For sure. I love that. So Amber just popped on here and she said, break appreciation for this deck, the art and the messages. Thank you, Jenna.
Thank
So
you.
that, yes. So I love too that there, do you, are all that, I don't remember because I know I've just been paying attention to this deck. Do you number all of your decks, or is that a preference on the publisher?
That's a preference on the publisher.
Is it on there? Yeah. Because I
Yeah.
saw that these are numbered, and I love when they're numbered. It just makes it easier for me because I'm just clumsy, and then I'll just flip through. But also,
Right.
too, wanted to show everybody too this gilded edging. Like, look
No,
at this.
so beautiful.
I'm so
When it came
obsessed
in, I
with
was like,
gilded
oh
edging.
my God, so tasty. So tasty.
Pretty it is. It's so pretty. I am like seriously obsessed with it because even for my deck, I'm like, I need edging. I don't care. So I saw that and I was like, yes, it is perfect. I love it. I love it. So, do you have any other projects lined up that you can talk about?
I just finished. I did do art for rock pool for Ina Segal. I did the Healing Heart deck. I believe it's called the Healing Heart deck.
Mhm.
Um, I think that'll be out around the holidays. I'm not sure, but I
Awesome.
did just finish my second deck with them, which is a totally different feel, and it's called the Resurrection deck.
Ooh.
So that's going to be exciting. And the art is not, this here is so surreal and big eyed. So you see things, so you need to
Yeah.
remind you to look at things, and life gets crazy, it gets surreal. But, here we are. Um,
Right.
where the Resurrection deck, I wanted more of like kind of a pre Raphaelite romantic feel. And it's about just all like the arrival to the departure and the laments. So it's just about, and not necessarily a lament, a passing lament or departure, but everybody leaves at some point, and
Right.
how do you get through that? So
Right,
that's
like,
my
kind of
next thing.
honoring the process, right?
Right.
Like, that's kind of what it sounds like. Ooh, I'm excited about that one. That's exciting. I love that. So how long does it usually take you to do a card?
It really depends. It sometimes is out in 2 days, 3 days. Sometimes when I'm working with other authors, sometimes it's a
Mhm.
little hard because you have your vision, they have their vision, and
Right.
you have to kind of mesh the two and make it feel organic so it doesn't feel contrived. So
Mhm.
some do take longer than others. It really depends on the authors and the
Yeah.
freedom and the vision that you're given. And I feel like when I'm given that freedom, it's a more authentic, soulful journey, and the images come out much more better. Much more better. They come out better.
I
Um,
know what you meant.
um,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah, that's I mean, I could see definitely see how it can trying to combine, because like even as I've been creating my deck, I have 2 decks and I'm creating them, and I give the artist the images, and then, both of them will come back with kind of their take on it. So it's like trying to make sure that their voice is heard too, because they are, creating it,
right,
and then mine because I created the description of it.
right,
So it is it definitely takes a little bit more time. And it's always nice too, because like in the beginning, I always feel like the first few cards are a little bit okay, a little bit, extra like tweaking. But then once you kind of find your flow,
that flow.
it
Yeah,
really, yeah, right? Like, do you feel like that too with that once you
I
find that flow?
I tell you what I do. I have a whole thing that I send to people when they contact me, and I tell them this is my process. This is how I do
Mhm.
this. You have your vision, and somewhere in the middle, there's that beautiful serendipitous creation that we're gonna do.
Right.
If you feel like this is for you, that's okay.
Hmm.
We can see if we can make this come to fruition. If not, it's okay to just look at the garden but not know the gardener's process and understand it. So I do what I normally do is meditate on some words. I'll ask them for a breakdown, an outline. What do you need? What
Yeah.
do you want to see? And I'll meditate maybe a week on it. And then I will start the creation process.
Okay.
What kind of art did you want? Did you want a more modern art? And, do you want a more surreal art, a Michael Parks feel? What kind of feel do you want? And then I'll create like two or three images and
Hmm.
say, this is what I'm getting from it. Is this working for you?
Right. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I love that you take that time to actually sit and meditate with it, because
Yeah,
I think that's really important to kind of, step into that energy, because it's not necessarily the energy you created. So it's kind of you just kind of meshing with that and intertwining that energy. So I love that. Like, I think that's important. And I think a lot of people, they want to create and but they want quick, because that's what we are.
right.
Everything quick, 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 right now, right now, right now.
That
But
instant
sometimes,
gratification.
yeah, and sometimes taking just that step back and taking the time to really kind of get to know it is really important too. And so I love that you said that. And I think that for anybody out there that is trying to create, whether, and that can even go for the art or the writing too.
Right,
It's just
exactly.
letting the process come to you, letting it happen, sitting with it, becoming part of it, and then it'll just kind of flow.
Absolutely.
I think in the long run, it's flow so much better too, because then you won't get those blocks, you
And
know?
it honestly, and this sometimes I'll meditate on something, and it's not a creative process for me. It's not. It's this is not my journey.
Right.
I'm not feeling it, and it's not a disrespect to the author or whatever. It's just this is for someone else to create. This is someone
Yeah,
else's thing to bring into
right.
fruition with you.
Yeah, and and that's really a big thing too, because that's really kind of stepping outside your ego. Because a lot of people, they get this, proposal to do something, and they're like, oh, I got to do it. I got to do it. I got to do everything that comes, and being
Mm-mm.
able to take that step back and say, you know what, this I'm not really vibing with this. Like, I don't think this is mine to do.
Right.
Um, that is something that I feel also a lot of people struggle with. So I think, I'm glad that you said that, because I think that also will help other people to know that it's okay
It's
to
okay.
turn
Say
stuff
no.
down,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's okay.
It's really, it needs to be an organic thing. It really needs to have that flow and that organic, like, I feel what this author is putting there. I feel their soul. I feel their words. Um, and it's okay to say, you know what, this is not what I do, and I appreciate it. And God, I hope this is a wonderful treasure when it's completed.
Mhm.
And I'll even say, I know this artist or that artist, and this is more
Yeah.
of what they do. But it's okay to say no, because I want to always be proud of what I put out there.
Right, right. No, I definitely agree. And that's also something too that actually, because I'm a tarot reader, so I do tarot readings, and there's been times when I've sat down with somebody and I'm just like, oh, yeah, yeah, we're this no,
Yeah.
and it's like nothing against that person at all, but I just know that I'm not going to be able to deliver what they're looking for. So
Right.
I'll refer other tarot readers who I know that might be better style for them. And a lot of times they will come back to me and say, "Oh, this person was really wonderful," and they might come to me for something else, or
Right.
they'll,
Right.
or advice for something or whatever. But that at that time and at that reading, and just like you said, at that time doing that, it just wasn't what it needed to be. But it doesn't
Right.
mean, and if you could do that out of respect too, you never know what will come back around, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, you
I
don't
think
want to be greedy. I mean, it's not about the money, it's about the process and the
right.
creativity and the authenticity behind it on both sides. If I'm creating something just to make money, then I feel like it's a fluff. Fluff, I guess, is a
Right,
good word.
right. Well, and
Or
I
it,
think that it gets people recognize that too, because
right,
they know that you're just pumping out stuff, and it's like you're just, there are people that do that, and they just want the numbers. They want to have this many, I put out this many things, and look at all the stuff. And again, I think it's that ego too. So, it's always refreshing when there is somebody that's like, no, it's, what, I'm going to do what I feel that is aligned with me. And if it's not, then it isn't.
right,
And it's not a bad thing. And I
right,
think we need to just as overall recognize that too. And and I mean, it kind of even leans into your oracle deck too, in a way, because it is called the Human Spirit Oracle, and it is about reconnecting. And
right,
sometimes when you want to connect in a certain way, that's not the way you're supposed to connect. So it's up to you to kind of decide, how is that affecting me? What can I do? Why am I not connecting in a certain way? And then you can even just pull a card and just and use that
right.
as a guide, right?
Yeah, it not not everything is for you, and
Mhm.
sometimes there's that FOMO because there's so much stimulation always coming around, coming at you. But
Yes.
sometimes it's okay to go, yeah, no, this is just not for me,
Mhm.
and or you know, why am I feeling this way, or feeling why am I feeling left out, or why am I feeling blue, or why am I feeling like I have to be on all the time, or
Mhm.
you know why am I dealing with this other trauma, this other people's craziness,
Yeah.
hence not my circus, not my monkeys,
Right.
it's like, oh, it's kind of crazy, it's a little much for me, but I'm not wrangling this mess.
Right. No, exactly, and I think we all need to do that more too because we do. We take on so much stuff that's not ours, and, and I'm always telling people, like, you just need to really just ask yourself, "Is this my problem?"
Right,
Right?
right,
And really there and the first thing that pops in your head is the answer, and it's probably not what you wanna hear, but it's
right,
probably what you need to hear. So,
right,
it's very important too.
exactly,
That very,
exactly.
very important. But yeah, so why don't you tell everybody where they can find you if they'd like to check out some more of your work?
I am on Instagram, Jena_Dellagrottaglia, which is a really big one, I know, or autumnsgoddess.com, which is my website. I do my own website, so it's very behind, very behind. And I do password protect my Oracle decks because I've had some instances where people were kind of ganking the art and
Oh,
trying to sell it. Yeah, it was so I did
really?
password protection on there, but you can always find me usually on Instagram, but most likely if I'm not on my account, I'm on my pupper's account. So
Mhm.
I believe my email is somewhere in my Instagram. I don't really
Right.
Facebook. I don't do a lot of that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so Instagram's the place to be. Yeah, and
Instagram.
when you start, like, typing your name in too, it does pop up. So, if
Awesome.
someone starts putting Jenna underscore, your name does pop up on there. So,
Oh, nice, nice.
and then I will also to make sure to, kind of put all your information in there so that people can find you and really all of her decks are available wherever you buy your decks or books or in all of that too. So you can always search all of those different places as well. Well, Jenna, thank you so much for being on with me today. I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun, and I hope to have you on again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me and making me feel very at ease. I appreciate that.
Good. Yay. All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us today. And this will be available on the podcast in a couple of days, and I'll be posting that. So we will, just make sure you like and follow all the things so that you can keep up to date on all of the interviews that I'm doing. All right, guys, have a great day.